Alright, so this is how the video is going to be laid out. First, I'm going to show you the parts that you need. Then I'll show you the tools that you need. Then I'll go ahead and walk you through the modification. Then I'll go ahead and demo the Gonzo Edition Level 1 against the second generation X Factor. And also during that, while I'm demoing it, I'll talk about how I came to the conclusion that it's double the resistance on your X Factor. Alright, so yeah, let's get started. Okay, so what makes the Gonzo edition the Gonzo edition? Well, what is this special extra parts that you need? Well, it's pretty simple. It's just this the Gonzo band. Alright, and you're gonna of course need a set, one for each side. But basically what this is just, it's a really heavy duty resistance band, okay? And actually, just to give you a quick reference, this is the 60-pound band, right? And that's about how thick it is, okay? But if I put them side by side, you can kind of see a difference in the diameter. If I put them side by side this way. Okay, so the tools that you need is a flathead screwdriver, okay? Now the important part is that the shaft of the screwdriver be as skinny as possible and also as long. Doesn't have to necessarily be this long, but a relatively long screwdriver is gonna work best, and you'll see as I'm going through the modification why. Because just a short, even if it was skinny, screwdriver just wouldn't work too well. Okay, you'll need this. Okay, this is a 11-inch 45-degree angled pliers, needle nose pliers. Okay, the important part about this is that the teeth, I guess, on this be as small as possible, as thin as possible. When I went to buy this, some of them were thick here, alright, and that's going to make it just a little bit more difficult. But just when you go to get these, if you don't already have them, then make sure you find some that are skinny in this area. They do sell them where it comes straight out, but I recommend either 45 and maybe even a 90-degree angle would work as well. Okay. Alright, so the next thing you'll need is relatively, and this is optional, but you'll need this if you're making the modification yourself. You'll need just anything that you can use to hold your pliers apart. But if you have a friend that's helping you, then that friend would hold this apart. But basically, you're gonna open this and then have to jam something in there to hold it apart. Okay. And then you're also gonna need a 5mm Allen wrench, but a 3/16 would work. Okay. Now, if you don't have these tools, or you don't know someone that has these tools, then what you can do is, I guess, borrow them from the hardware store. Meaning, you go ahead and buy them, and when you're done with the modification, then just return them. All right, just so that this isn't buying the tools isn't part of your cost if you don't already have them. All right. So now, alright, let's get into the actual modification. Alright, so the first thing you're gonna do, and I meant to leave one of these in here, because they do come plugged when you buy these, okay? And what you're gonna basically have to do is work the plug out. Now, that's where this comes in, okay? You're going to just stick it in, and basically what you're doing is making sure you get in between what's going to be the rubber here, and then the edge here, and you're going to slowly inch it forward. As you might can see, you will of course leave some marks there. And when you're doing this, of course, some of the plastic, little bits of plastic will come off, and maybe even little bits of the rubber will come off. But you just keep doing that. The technique I found that works best is just do one side, and slowly it turns this way, and you'll be able to tell that the plug is tilted, and then flip it over, and then work the other side so that it's, you know, moving along. All right. And when it gets close to the edge, of course, this hole will open up. All right. And you're just going to start using your fingers, because at that point you won't be able to use the tip of the screwdriver to get in there, and you'll have to just use your fingers, and then it'll just slide right off. Now there is the option, but I don't recommend it. But if you do get tired of messing with it, or it just seems like there's no progress, because you just have to make sure you get as deep in there as possible, because if you're just getting in there and just moving this much, you're not gonna make too much progress. But like I said, it comes plugged. And one option, and again, I don't recommend this, is to cut it. Now you could cut back here and not even have to deal with trying to get the plug out, but I just don't recommend cutting the band. But if you still want to cut it and maybe just do a little bit of work, I would recommend, well, I would suggest that you would cut it up here and then working it out. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and do this 4 times total, so that each end is just nice and bare. Okay.